Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts Podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. I am your host, Drew. Take my hand and let's walk this journey together. Welcome back to the Meaningful Hearts Podcast. Today, I want to talk about why we hide the truth. Why do we bury things in the dirt, in the sand? Why do we do that? What is the purpose of hiding something that inevitably will be found out, right? You know it's going to be discovered, but you hide it anyways, and you put it off for maybe a better time in which it will be discovered and maybe explained. Why do we do that? The truth sets us free, right? All you got to do is be honest, and you never really have to worry. But things get a little more complicated. Things get really complicated because not all lies are equal, I guess, right? The truth in doses could be good for someone. Some people are a little more sensitive than others, so maybe you hold off on the full truth. I don't believe in that, but I also don't make a lot of friends by doing that. And I upset some people. Not a good tactic per se, and sometimes you can learn how to express something in a little bit of a lighter way, but some things are just kind of avoidable as far as any way you say it, it's going to sound kind of hurtful. Because the truth does hurt sometimes, and a lot of people don't want to hear it. So why do we hide the truth? Well, that could be for one. A lot of people build relationships on formalities just to feel good about their situation and also to feel like the relationship they have is a little more meaningful than it is. I don't know why people do that, but it happens. And it's also to play nice with people, play nice, if you don't have anything good to come out of your mouth, don't say anything. But a lot of times the truth is not going to be nice. It's not going to be good. And it's appropriate. It's just that we're conditioned not to handle that truth because it upsets us. So what do we do when we get upset? We kind of avoid things that make us more upset. And a lot of our parents do this too. That whole extra effort award. For what? You didn't win, you don't get a reward. But, society has built things a little bit differently where you get a reward or you get a trophy for participation. Where does that come from? Not being honest with ourselves. And it starts at a very young age. So if you're accustomed to getting rewarded even when you shouldn't have earned it, somebody breaks that down to you one day and says, hey, you don't deserve anything for this. You didn't do anything for it. You didn't win the prize. You don't get a prize for not winning. You lost, and there's a learning curve, and you learn from it. Losing isn't always a bad thing, but just know that you didn't win the ultimate prize, and that's okay. You just got to work harder next time. There's ways to go about it, but people feel that it's a self-esteem builder, right? I don't know how you could build self-esteem. I don't know how you could build self-esteem off of that. I really don't understand that. You're building a false sense of accomplishment that somebody's going to grow up thinking that they're entitled to. And then when they get into the real world and they understand the real rules, because in the real world, the rules apply that if you don't get the job, you don't get the job. You don't get a job anyways. You set out to do something. There's a goal and you achieve that goal. Now, you might have learned things along the way. You might have made some progress, but you're ultimately still going to work towards that one goal you're trying to achieve. You don't just get handed something just because you made that effort. That doesn't work that way. Life does not work that way. It's a false sense. And it's a lie, right? Our parents hide the truth from us. Telling children that every child is special. Every child, can do anything. There are some kids that don't have the same skill set. Not to say the kid is not special in their own right in a sense, but we're talking about skill sets. Some of us suck at sports. Now, you could train to be better at a specific sport, But there are people that have a little bit of a better handle or knack for a specific sport or aptitude for it, and are better at it from the start. And then they train to be even better. You look at the pro athletes, there's the elite pro athletes, and there's the people that ride the bench. The people that ride the bench are still amazing compared to people that haven't even made the pros, but they're still not elite athletes. And it stems from there. There are people that don't even make it past college. There's a reason. And there are people that can't even make it into high school sports. But you got to be realistic. You can't lie to somebody and tell them that they're amazing and wonderful. I would tell them, keep trying. If that's what you really love and that you're passionate about, go for it. But it has to be a real conversation. And there are parents that say their kids are a superstar athlete or they're wonderful and they really suck. Same thing with other things in life. You have to, if you learn that early and you understand it, and it's in a context in which it's not hurtful, I guess, in a sense where you're saying, hey, listen, you might suck at this, you might not be good at this, but there are other things you can be good at. There's reinforcement that works. But just blindly saying to somebody, yeah, you're amazing, or, this, that, and the third, don't lie to somebody. We get lied to very early in life. A lot of us do. And believe me, it does not build strength. It builds and sets you up for disappointment. And that sucks. Because it's going to be like your whole world comes crashing down when the truth comes out. It's going to be real hurtful. And you might turn back to your parents or whoever told you all that and say, why is it like this, or why is it like that? And they might still lie to you, which is fucked up. Or they might actually say, hey, listen, they might give you the truth then. And then you might resent them because they could have told you that all along. But at the same time, maybe they didn't want to hurt your feelings because you were young and impressionable. It's a very weird thing. And that's just one aspect of it, right? Hiding the truth. Sometimes you're in a relationship. Maybe whoever you're dating might ask you your opinion on something, right? An opinion about I don't know, does this make me look fat, or maybe does my makeup look nice? Does this look good on me, or am I this or am I that? And the significant other might say, well, yeah. He might, depending on the significant other, he might be a little more over the top and say, yeah, and he won't just say, yeah, you look good, or she won't just say, yeah, you look good. It'd be like, you look amazing, you look wonderful, like blowing complete smoke up that person's ass, knowing that they're lying just because they don't want to disappoint their partner. And I mean, you're treading on thin ice there, right? I guess because you don't want to upset the apple cart. You don't want to make your significant other upset with you. But let's be honest with ourselves. It's a relationship based on a certain amount of truth. But if you're not being truthful with your partner, then is your relationship real or is it fake? I think that we're lied to way too much. I love honesty in a relationship, even if it hurts me a little bit. At least I know she's being real with me, and that helps me because then I know the relationship is based on real stuff. Like I can really believe whatever she told me, whether it's bad or good. At least I have a good scope of our relationship, and I don't have to question it. But when everything's always good, I'm sorry, nobody ever looks good all the time. Nobody does great things all the time. Babe, your voice is annoying and you suck at singing. It's true, you suck. Maybe you could be a little nicer. Your singing really annoys me. Or I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Not everything is peachy. It's just not. Life is not like that. And sometimes when you're overtly when you compliment too much, there's questions there that say, well, you're full of shit. And I know you are, and you're being nice to me. And that's not good either. It's a very tricky thing. So we hide the truth to make somebody else feel better most of the time, or to avoid conflict. Now, I'm not saying that you need to put your 2 cents in all the time, because the worst advice is advice that isn't asked for. Not a good idea. My good friend Tarun always reminded me of that. The best advice is advice. I mean, the worst advice is advice that wasn't asked for. It's a really good life lesson. That was a very good information. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. I love you for that. But in all reality, there are strangers and there are people that are close to us. And obviously with strangers, you just say, okay, let them be. But when it's somebody that you care about, you tend to be more involved in their life and in their development. And I only put people around me in that close range that they want to be better, and I want them to better me. I don't want them to lie to me. I want them to give me constructive criticism, even when it hurts. Even when it hurts, believe me, I've had some really tough conversations that have brought me to tears. Really tough ones, hard ones. But those build muscles. Those build you up. They hurt for a while, and you have to go through that process of building. But as time goes around over and over and over again, you're going to feel stronger, you're going to be stronger, and you're going to be able to accept what is being said, internalize it, pick apart the good in that, and say, this is good. It always has to come from a good place. There's lies and compliments, and there's lies and slander. There are people that will say mean things to you, and the truth they're hiding is the good part of you. Somebody might say, I hate you, or when you're young, a girl or boy might tell you, you know what? No, you're not cute. You're ugly. But in reality, it might have a crush on you. See, that's a white lie. It's a cute little, just you pick on somebody that you like. We hide truths in different ways. It's very confusing sometimes. Some of your biggest haters are your biggest advocates. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. There's an attraction to you that they don't want to admit. So what they do, they hate on you harder. They get at you harder about it. They talk more shit to you. But in reality, they secretly probably admire you or respect you. It's just their ego will not let them. Their ego won't let them. I've become friends with people that I've had fights with. Physical fights with, when I was younger in my youth, or people that I disliked at first when I met them, and maybe we shared a couple of unpleasant conversations, but then all of a sudden we just became really good friends, like tight friends. And it was maybe we were a little too similar in certain ways, and that's okay. That happens a lot when you're similar in certain ways. You kind of butt heads and you kind of get off on the wrong foot, but then you start to respect each other. Sometimes you respect the fact that you're not willing to just engage with that person on a personal level without kind of putting them through the whole testing phase. We do that sometimes. We test people to see how bulletproof they are. I'm not saying that's the best route, but it happens. Everybody's behavior is different in life. So we cover the truth, we hide it, we put it in places so it's not seen. Sometimes as a test, or sometimes to hide our feelings. We do it for all these different reasons, or sometimes just to help somebody's development. Sometimes, there's other times where it's kind of a good thing to hide the truth. I would say a good reason to hide the truth is maybe when I invite you to work out with me, and I say, it's going to be a quick hour-long workout. We're just going to do some this and that, and then when you step in, the workout begins, and it's hard. It's very hard. It's harder than you expected it to be, and it goes more than an hour. But you're pushing through. You're pushing through with me, or I'm pushing through with you, and we're going through these exercises, and we're really pushing ourselves. And I said, maybe do 6 reps. And then you pushed it. We were at 6, but you're still pushing. I'm going to push you to maybe 10. I'm going to push you. Now, by the time the exercise is over, maybe it's an hour and 45 minutes long. And it was an ass-kicking workout. You broke a sweat. You're all pushed out. You're drained. But you enjoyed it, right? And you laugh at me, or I say to you, like, wow, that was definitely not an easy 1-hour workout. I was like, I know it was. I just want to see what you were made of. Now, that's good hiding the truth. That's an innocent, fun way sometimes to kind of trick somebody's brain into pushing with the concept of what is and what it's supposed to be and what it really becomes. I've seen it in sports where you're running down the field and you don't think you can make it. Or maybe in your mind, you feel like you don't have enough to give, but you have to make it down the field to the end zone to score. And you keep pushing and you keep pushing, you keep telling yourself, you keep pushing, and then you make it. Sometimes we set our minds to what the truth is already, and then we premeditate how we're going to handle it. And I guess tricking your brain sometimes is a good thing. Listen, you can only do 10 push-ups, but I'm not going to push. You're set to 10. You're set to almost fail at 10. You mentally prepare for 10 to fail at 10. But without setting your expectations of how many push-ups you can do and say, I'm going to do as many as I can, I guarantee you'll push past that if you initially did 10 or give one extra, just one extra or two extra. Incrementally, you could trick your brain for these things. So hiding the truth is not a bad thing. Or maybe giving you a difficult situation, but not telling you it's going to be difficult, and see how you approach it. There's beauty in that. See how I took a negative thing? It sounds negative. Hiding the truth might sound deceitful and wrong, but sometimes it can trick you. It can trick you into doing more. It can trick you into not overthinking a challenge and going through with it. Getting into maybe a situation that might be scary or dangerous. And sometimes people leave out facts, Hey, would you like to go do this thing that we're going to do? Hey, let's go. Like if I mentioned to you, hey, listen, let's go out on a boat and let's go fishing. Okay. That sounds like fun. We'll catch some fish. I'm not going to say, hey, let's go out into the middle of the ocean where the currents might be rough and maybe the boat might capsize, we might die. Those variables are there. But sometimes, leaving that stuff out is not a bad thing, because you will impede on your actual experience by adding all these factors in. Listen, I'm an overthinker. You don't have to tell me these things because I'm already calculating these things. But in reality, it's not always good to tell everybody everything. Just play it by ear. In sales, people might walk in the door at a job and they might say to you, hey, I'm not looking to buy anything today. That's okay. Looking to buy something is okay. Looking is okay. It's not a bad thing. And there goes my dog making noise in the background. But it's okay. And you say, well, that's fine. I'm not looking to sell you anything either. I'm just looking to show you some stuff. You don't have to address the obvious all the time. You keep it in the background. Now, at the end, somebody might actually buy something, but you don't have to have it up at the front, at the very front. You can avoid that sometimes, and it's okay. But you really got to pick and choose sometimes. So it's not always being deceitful to hide the truth. It's not. Well, I appreciate you for listening today. I hope it wasn't too much of a rant, and I will talk to you on the rant episode. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.